Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. James O'Keefe strikes again. I pretty much knew that this is exactly the way this thing was going to play out. Project Veritas thought that they were going to be able to continue without him. Remove him from the picture, no problem. Project Veritas is going to continue doing the work that it used to. They've become instantly insignificant, irrelevant. Meanwhile, James O'Keefe goes on to found the O'Keefe Media Group, which immediately resumes business as usual. As expected, breaking the internet once again. Here's a perfectly relevant video to an important topic that we've been discussing for a while now. Out of control, authoritarian, leftist woke school boards. James O'Keefe has secured body cam footage which shows what goes on behind the scenes. Well, let's just say, considering the information that we already have, what you're about to see isn't exactly surprising at all. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I don't need to fill in too much context. We've been doing it for months. Here's behind the scenes of these school board meetings, kind of the thought process from these school administrators, how they view and how they're talking about parents, and even crazier, how they're involving police officers to essentially do their authoritarian bidding.
There's about 8 of them. And none of them, we have all the different administrators in there, none of them that have been principals and stuff, none of them recognize them as past students. They're not parents. They're different looking. Some, they look Trumpish, and to be like, they look a little scary.
There's people that aren't usually your usual board
watchers, exactly.
Right.
There's like
people that come to the meetings. It's new faces that you've never seen before.
Never seen before. Some of them, they don't look like Livingston. They might be.
So you think they might be part of some kind of like?
Yeah, that's what.
Like an Antifa, not like an Antifa, but something along those lines.
That's exactly what we're thinking. And maybe they're going to all different board meetings. I'm not sure. So I just thought it'd be safe that I call you.
You called us, correct?
Yes.
They look shady. Like
yes,
hey,
they definitely look
like
there's something up.
Not like a Livingston parent, like well to do.
Definitely not.
Academy.
Yeah, they videotape. I think there's more like intimidate. So this is what his thing is. Go to the towns that are doing this diversity, equity, inclusion curriculum or whatever they're doing, and I guess he's against it. Or
yeah. This one's talking specifically about his
last
week in Roselle Park.
Seriously, this is the society we live in now. The one guy in the blue blazer went outside to look. He's like, "Oh, I'm a journalist. I don't care." Did they call the cops on us? I says I was told to come here by my supervisor.
Alright, so the full context here is that a group of men, as you saw in the video, showed up, and the school board administrators went into full-on panic mode, immediately calling the police. What was their excuse? Well, the men were unknown and they looked Trumpish. So apparently, what we're seeing here is a justified response to people that you don't know and people who, I don't know, maybe look a certain way and you perceive as Trumpish. Anybody that you perceive as a Trump supporter, the justified response is to call the police on them. In other words, it's pretty much freaking business as usual in the public school system. This is the kind of political bias and discrimination that we've been talking about. This is it right over here, and of course with a little drizzle of authoritarianism, calling the police to essentially have them removed. The police officer in this instance is a complete, I don't know how to describe him, let's just call him a doofus. First of all, doesn't seem to understand the law whatsoever, as he appears to take legal advice from school administrators.
Do they have a right to do this?
No, technically no. You have to be a Livingston
resident.
Or you can work at Livingston. You have to have some type of affiliation.
Connection with Livingston. Other than that, these things shouldn't be. Yeah. We shouldn't be needed for something like this. Yeah. But you have these groups that they just want nothing better to do.
But as James O'Keefe later clarifies, or sets the record straight, it is in fact legal for the public to show up to these public meetings hosted by the public school boards.
This is clearly erroneous. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act is codified under New Jersey SA 1046 to 10421. The citation refers to New Jersey statutes annotated. It ensures the public can attend all school board meetings in the state, regardless of where you live, so this officer is ignorant of the law.
This whole situation is absurd on so many levels, but of course not surprising at all. Leftist ideology has completely corrupted these institutions. This is how they treat parents who are concerned about DEI programs and inappropriate, ahistorical, racist curriculums, and of course, totally inappropriate adult-style curriculums. They're not treating parental concerns with honest consideration. No, they're pretty much classifying you either as Trumpish or as right-wing extremists or domestic terrorists, as we've seen from the FBI and Merrick Garland at the DOJ, and they're either sicking the FBI on those parents or calling police officers to have you removed. This comes, by the way, after 2 viral instances of concerned fathers speaking at school board meetings, simply reading passages from books that are available in public school libraries, getting forcefully removed from these meetings. I showed you one a couple days ago, here's another.
Now on the topic of these pornographic books that you keep calling these point of contacts on as it relates to whether they should be read or not. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, currently in Storm Grove Middle School and Freshman Learning Center, page 265. As if letting him finger me was going to cure all my problems.
Sir, I'll stop
but
you
in
there.
the end,
Sir, I will
never
stop
told
you
to get
there,
away.
and then
you
we will
didn't.
continue
You stopped
to
rubbing
not look at that.
circles
I'm
on
going
my
to stop you
stomach.
there, please.
Instead, you rubbed
Would you
back
cut
and
the
forth,
microphone, please?
gently along my
Cut the
waist.
microphone.
Your pinky made its way under the top
Stop
of
it,
my
please.
panties
Sir,
and rolled
stop
back
it.
and forth
You don't
from
stop,
hip
I'll
to
ask
hip.
you to leave. Thank you.
He doesn't need a microphone.
Yes, sir, I asked you to stop, and you're going to have to leave if you don't continue with that. Yes, sir. No, sir, I asked you to stop. I asked you to stop.
That happened at the school district of Indian River County. These are real concerns from concerned parents, not racist, white, MAGA domestic extremists. Yeah, this guy, I don't know, doesn't exactly look like a white supremacist to me. These are legitimate concerns. People have an issue with the curriculum, and they're being treated as criminals for simply showing concern or for simply looking Trumpish. I don't know, for me the standard remains, if you can't stand at that podium and read these book passages without getting dragged out of the meeting, then those book passages or those books as a whole probably don't belong in the public school library to be made available to young children. Absolute sheer insanity. James O'Keefe is currently doing a follow-up to this story. They're seeking action against the police officer specifically, who seems to have more interest in doing the bidding of school board administrators. You know, instead of enforcing the law, he seems more interested in enforcing DEI programs, which I think I caught at one point. He claimed DEI programs are just part of society today. Something along those lines. Maybe I'll play it if I could find it or if I heard it correctly.
So this is what his thing is. Go to the towns that are doing this diversity, equity, and inclusion curriculum or whatever they're doing,
Yes, yeah.
and I guess he's against it. Or
Yeah. This one's talking specifically about his
Get
one
a-
last
you know what?
week in
Get a life.
Roselle Park.
seriously, this is the society we live in now. The one guy in the blue blazer went outside to look. He's like, "Oh, I'm a journalist. I don't care." Did they call the cops on us? I says I was told to come here by my supervisor.
It's just so incredibly ridiculous, so incredibly stupid. But unfortunately, it's the world that we live in. You know, it's a frustrating thing to see, but to a certain extent, I think there's a positive in what we're seeing here, because I think it's left-wing panic. You know, these people have this horribly narcissistic view of the world. They say things like they're our children, the state's children, rather than parents' children. They've gotten so arrogant and so cocky, just enforcing whatever rules they wanna. Well, no longer is that the case, because the people are on your case. They're clearly in panic mode because they know that parents are concerned. They know that parents are showing up to these school board meetings. And so they're panicking, calling the police, in absolute freakout mode, seeing Trump people everywhere. I see Trump people. That's how you know concerned parents are living rent-free in their minds. But most importantly, it's indicative of an environment of accountability. And now with one of these instances being made public, it's basically a warning to school boards across the nation that the jig is up. The politically biased and discriminatory practices, the authoritarian rule, the indoctrination will come to an end. Good on James O'Keefe, good on the O'Keefe Media Group. Fantastic work as per usual. Expose these sons of you-know-whats to the masses. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.